Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you know that we are revising poems, poetry section of your literature. As of now, we have discussed poem 1 and poem 2 by Mother at 66 and an elementary school classroom in a slum. Today in this video, we are going to read poem 3, Keeping Quiet, written by Pablo Neruda. So with the help of a PowerPoint presentation, we will try to understand this poem. We will discuss line by line explanation of the poem, paraphrase of the stanzas, hard words and their meanings, and poetic devices used in the poem. Okay dear students, so I hope you all are ready to begin. So let us begin with the help of a PPT. So as dear students, you can see in the first slide, there is a question about the picture. What is the picture all about? So the picture tells us, asks her to keep quiet. It is about keeping quiet. Let us meditate. Take a deep breath in. Now breathe out completely. Close your eyes and just watch the natural breath. You do not need to change or modify it. Just watch the breath coming in and going out without judgment. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. This is the natural breath meditation. You can do this anytime. This is a tool that will help you have control over things in your life. So we must meditate, and meditation plays a very important role in our life. So everyone must meditate. Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. About the poet Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda, born on July 12, 1904 and died on 23rd September 1973. Name Ricardo Eliezer Neftali Royce Basalto. Pen name Pablo Neruda. He was a Chilean poet. He won Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. He started writing poems when he was 13. In this poem, Neruda talks about the necessity of keeping quiet and introspection. Let's begin the poem. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the surface, for once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's not for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Here, the word keeping quiet conveys the message of universal peace, tranquility. The title Keeping Quiet emphasizes the necessity of quiet introspection and creating a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings. It conveys Neruda's philosophy of an exotic moment of silence and inactivity, which can an antidote, it is an antidote to war, violence, hatred, exploitation, and turmoil. By keeping quiet, mankind can try to understand itself and stop harming itself with death and destruction. Thus, the title is appropriate. Now, we will count to 12. So, everyone together, all involved. That is, here alliteration has been used. Let me show you the whole PPT. Here the poet talks about number 12. What does it signify? So 12 number signifies number of hours in a day, 12 months in a year, 12 zodiac signs. This span of time will calm everyone all ready for inspection. Then keep still means no activity, all calm and ready to listen, no chaos, look inwards, introspection, introspect yourself. Okay. Not speak in any language, as language causes barriers, no comprehensive idea, no understanding of each other, neither verbal nor sign language. So here the poet wants the readers, wants us not to speak in any language, whether it is verbal or non-verbal, as language also creates a barrier. It also causes a barrier. So arms is an intense of pun here. In puns, duplicacy of sense is created because of the unity of sound. Arm here stands for a body part as well as a weaponry. Okay. So now we will count up to 12 and we will all keep still. Through these lines in this stanza, the poet wants to tell us the power of keeping quiet, how keeping quiet helps us to introspect ourselves. The poet asks the readers that she will count up to 12 and we all will keep still. We all will not speak in any language. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and do not move our arms so much. So the poet says that at least for once, everyone should keep quiet and introspect. They should not speak in any language, whether it is verbal or non-verbal, and they also should not move their arms so much. It means they also should not do any action. They should give times to themselves to introspect yourself. They must introspect themselves, or we must introspect ourselves, what we are doing, what are our action, whether they are right or wrong. So that is why the poet wants at least for this time duration which we would take in counting from 1 to 12, we should keep quiet and introspect ourselves at least once in a day. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. So here, exotic moment means a new kind of happiness that one has not experienced before. So here it would be an exotic moment. It is all about meditation. The poet talks about meditation. So here exotic moment, a strange moment, a new kind of happiness that one has not experienced. It is during meditation. Without rush, without engines, without competition, without rush, without engines, here shows that there would be no competition of going ahead. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. We would all be together means we have got the selfishness out of us. We have to got selfishness out of us. So only then we all be together. We would all be together. So what message does the poet wants to convey through this stanza? In these lines, the poet speaks about the beauty of the stillness and silence which he recommends for his readers. He says that it would be an exotic moment in which the cosmic pace of life will halt, and so will the engines. There will be no noises. By using the word exotic, he sensualizes this moment of inactivity for us, during which people would be freed of their rush and to get from point A to point B, and will get back from the rat race which all of us, which all of our lives have been reduced to in this modern utilization, modern so utilitarian word. In this, where everyone in a hurry, everyone is running after money. They are not giving times to themselves to introspect, to think about themselves, to think about what they are doing, whether it is right or wrong. Okay. So by referring to the world in which engines have halted, so here the poet also refers the world where engine is stopped, no rush, no one is rushing, there is no noises. Neruda is indicating towards a reversal of the dehumanization aftermath of industrialization and mechanization, which he made societies greedy and individuals self-centric. So the people, they have become self-centric in the society. So the poet wants them to come out the selfishness. Okay, so once all our activity and the incessant flood of interpersonal communication stops, the world will come together. This coming together of the world will be the one of a kind union, something that the world has not seen or experienced before. So when from counting 1 to 12, the poet wants us to keep quiet for this short duration of time and think of ourselves, introspect ourselves. So this keeping quiet can be very useful for us in many ways. Now, fisherman in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hot hand. Further, the poet says that a fisherman, here fisherman refers to oppressor, the person who exploit others. So let us go through the word and their hard word and their meanings. Then we will go through the paraphrasing. Fisherman. So if you live by harming others, stop harming. It is symbolic of oppressor. Gathering salt. It refers for destroying nature. Okay. Would not harm whales. Harming whales, it refers to nature. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So fisherman here refers, if you live by harming others, stop harming. It's a symbolic of oppressor. And here would not harm whales. So here whales represent, a nature. So they would stop, harming the nature. And man gathering salt, if refers to the oppressed. Okay, if you live by harming yourself, stop gathering. It is symbolic of oppressed. So gathering salt is symbolic of oppressed. Hot hands. So his hot hands. It means this is an instance of alliteration. So which means they would also give the person who harmed the nature, if they would be keeping quiet and introspecting themselves, then for that particular moment they would not be harming the nature. The person who exploits other, the person or the people who exploit others, they must think about their action, they must introspect themselves. Here in these lines, Neruda has attempted to establish a harmony between the tyrants and the oppressed. The fisherman here stands for the exploitative class of people, and the whale stands for the oppressed. The poet hopes that keeping quiet would bring in a rush of introspection, and in an attempt to understand oneself and the world around, the metaphoric hunter would become kind to his prey. So that is, people will stop causing, each other hurt. So once the chain of introspection begins, Man, represented here by the salt gatherer, would begin to reflect upon the ups and downs that he has gone through in the course of his life, along with the lessons that he has learned in the process, represented here by the hurt hands. Now, next stanza. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victories with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shed doing nothing. So here, prepare green wars means deforestation, etc. Manufacture of nature of wars, man-made wars, wars with gas, wars with fire. So the damage done by the conventional chemical and biological weapons, that is green wars, wars with grasses, with fire, can be stopped only if and when government and nations teach themselves to keep quiet. So the poet has only one solution of everything, that is keeping quiet and introspect yourself. So by keeping quiet and by introspecting, so we can overcome on many things. By green wars, in these lines, Neruda is referring to the calculated onslaught on nature that humans have been making in the name of modernization. In the name of modernization, leading to phenomena of decadence and environmental degradation, such as global warming, exercising a moment of inactivity. We will bring a stop to the ongoing welfare among nations. Neruda mocks such wars which bring victory in the cost of human lives and basic humanities. If the people engaged in welfare on and nonetheless for a bit, the soldiers can discard their blood-stained uniforms and recognized fellow soldiers on the site of the battlefield of flowers. So the poet here warns us that his message of silence would not be confused with total inactivity or inertia. He further clears that his message does not have any, affinity with death even. His message is aimed at the way of living. He wants us to stop a while and feel the calmness so that a positive introspection is done. For the next stanza, what I want should not be confused with the total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with the death. So, the poet urges his readers to not to confuse this state of dominancy with total inactivity, because although they will be physical still quiet, their mind and will be at the work. So their body, they are physically still and quiet, but their mind is working. Silence will help you to churn our peels of physical and mental stillness will be taken to death, and poet says he wants nothing to with it. His purpose to foster his purpose to foster life through introspection and reaction. His dictum in favor of rest should not be confused with eternal rest. So total inactivity. So as the poet says, he does not want us to stop our works, but to take some time and analyze the result of our deeds. So we should analyze for the result of what we have done. Life is about activity. It is an ongoing process. So life is not inactive, it is about activity, and it is an ongoing process. If we are not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the death can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I will count up to 12 and you will keep quiet. You keep quiet and I will go. So what does the poet say in the last stanza of the poem? Humans, we suffer from collective narrow-mindedness in the way that all our actions can be linked to our survival instinct. In our struggle to achieve all our goals before death takes to hold us, we become so engrossed with our materialistic aims and responsibilities that we never stop to stare at ourselves and the world around us. The fear of death and the related survival instinct are so strong that in this mad rush they do not realize the repercussion of their acts. So single-minded means narrow-minded, too involved in materialistic pursuits. So keeping our lives moving in the It is tragedy of the modern world where people are busy to live. Sadness. So man's sadness is formed by his own thoughts and actions. So Neruda says that by exploring our real selves away from the clutches of our surface desires, we can help into a treasure of happiness that can only be unlocked through self-realization. Threatening ourselves with means the relation of the understanding themselves makes them helpless and sad. So here it is all about this poem. In my next video I'll explain the remaining part of the poems, and we will also discuss the poetic devices used in this poem. So thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.